Yes, hi, hello everyone. तो कैसे हैं आप लोग? आई होप सो ऑल ऑफ यू आर डूइंग वेल. सो वेलकम टू अनदर सेशन ऑफ दिस ग्रेड 9 मास्टर सीरीज जहाँ पे हम नेक्स्ट टॉपिक जो है क्वाड्रिलेटरल्स में उसको डिस्कस करने जा रहे हैं. So before proceeding further, if you are someone who is new to this series or doesn't know exactly कि चल क्या रहा है, so we have this master series for class 9, 10, 10 जहाँ पे we are discussing every NCERT chapter and along with that we are looking at the important concepts जो भी हैं every chapter में, and after summarizing all of them we are discussing the exercise. Okay, so we have had plenty of sessions as of now. 15 to 16 sessions हमने ले लिए हैं, and as of now quadrilaterals चल रहा है. So if you're interested in the series and want to explore the previous sessions also, you can check out the Career Launcher CUET का channel where you will find separate playlist for class 9 and 10. In that playlist you will find every session that has taken place previously. And in future, if you want to attend these sessions, every Monday at 7 p.m. like today I am live right now, आप join कर सकते हैं for grade 9 and for grade 10 it is every Friday at 7 p.m. So the timing is same, it's just key days are different. So before proceeding further, I hope so I'm audible to all of you. Yes. So let us just look at what all concepts we are going to discuss to solve the next exercise. तो आज हम करने जा रहे हैं 8.2 एक्सरसाइज जो है एनसीईआरटी का. सो लेट्स लुक एट व्हाट ऑल बेसिक टर्म्स एंड डेफिनेशंस डू वी नीड to solve the questions from this particular exercise. So the exercise is based on something called as the midpoint theorem. So it's a very important theorem and it's basically covered in these 2 points as you can see right over here. So what does it says is, if we are having a line segment which is joining the midpoints of two sides, then it is parallel to the third side. Okay, so if I'm saying ki I know ki E and F are the midpoints of my AB, so I can see that E is the midpoint of AB and F is the midpoint of AC. If that is so, if both of them are midpoints, दोनों midpoints है, so then I can say or imply कि जो EF line है it must be parallel to the line BC. Okay, so this is my theorem 8.8. But what about 8.9? 8.9 कहता है if the line draw through the midpoint of one side, तो इस केस में मुझे पता है कि E is the midpoint of your line AB. ठीक है, so E is the midpoint of the line AB is parallel to the other side. Okay, so this means कि you are aware और आपको ये पता है कि my EF is parallel to the line BC. Okay, so these two conditions you are aware about it. So what conclusion do we derive is, it means it bisects the third side. It bisects the third side means if this line E से शुरू हो रही है line and F पे खत्म हो रही है, so it means my EF line is basically bisecting the third side which is AC. So my F must be also the midpoint of your line AC. Okay, so these are the two theorems that you must remember to solve every question that you would be looking in the exercise 8.3. Again, I am summarizing both of them. If E and F are these midpoints of your line AB and AC respectively, it simply means that the two lines EF and BC are parallel. And what if you are aware that कि एक point जो है midpoint है मेरे line AB का, and you know कि parallel है lines EF is parallel to BC, so it means that the next point जो F है it must be bisecting the second line which is AC. ठीक है, so it means these are the two things that you must remember. Now if I'm showing you the exercise 8.2, in exercise 8.2 this is the very first question which you are looking into the screen. ABCD is a quadrilateral in which PQRS are the midpoints of these sides respectively. So from the figure also you can see जो 8.20 figure है उसमें भी visible है that okay, ABCD is a quadrilateral in which PQRS is the midpoint, but there is something that we need to show. It's already given to us कि AC is a diagonal, so ये जो आप dotted line देख रहे हो it's basically the diagonal of this particular quadrilateral. So looking at the first point, we need to show that SR is parallel to AC and SR is half of AC. So focus on the first point, that can I say that S and R are midpoints of what? ये तो मुझे given है इसी question में that S and R are the midpoints of DA and DC respectively. So can I say, or basically I'll just come back to this point, that when I know, yes, so when I know that both of these are the midpoints, I can say that the two lines are parallel to each other. So it means this simply implies from the theorem that my SR will be parallel to AC. So this is the first thing that I can derive from this simple conclusion कि S and R are midpoints of the lines. Okay? Now not only that, from the same theorem, from the midpoint theorem itself, I can say that my SR will be half of the diagonal AC. Okay? So this diagonal that you're looking at AC is, it will be half of that. Now looking at the second point. Second point is I need to show that PQ is equal to RS. So let's consider ये हम equation 2 याद रखेंगे. Let's remember this as the equation 2. Now looking at the second part. From second part again, just remember that P and Q are the midpoints of what? AB and CB. है ना? Again by the midpoint theorem, I can say that my PQ will be parallel to the diagonal AC, and not only that, my PQ will be half of AC also. So let's just name this as equation 3. Now from 2 and 3, can I say if my SR is half of AC and PQ is half of AC, my SR must be equal to PQ. है ना? And this is what is to be proved in my second point. Second point में मुझे यही prove करना है कि ये दोनों जो लेंस हैं SR and PQ, ये दोनों equal हैं एक दूसरे के. Now the next thing is क्या याद रखना है हमें, that I have proved कि my PQ is equal to SR, but I know कि SR is parallel to AC and PQ is parallel to AC. If two things are parallel to the same thing, it means कि SR is also parallel to PQ. So not only they are equal to each other, they are also parallel to each other. ठीक है? And whenever we are having this condition, it simply means कि ये जो PQRS quadrilateral है, nothing but your parallelogram. Okay, so it means the first three parts are done and I have made use of the same concept or theorem, which is the midpoint theorem. I hope so this question is clear. If not, please write it down in the chat section so that I can just read it out from here. Now let's look at the next question. The second question is that ABCD is a rhombus. So let's draw that. Okay, so I'm having A, B, C, D. So this is a rhombus. And in here I'm having P, Q, R, S. So let's join all these points to midpoints in मेरे पास. So it is given to us that P, Q, R, S are the midpoints of the sides A, B, B, C, C, D, and D respectively. Okay, and I need to show that the quadrilateral PQRS is a rectangle. Okay, so let's do this one construction, that I'm trying to join the line A to C and B to D. So let's join these 2 points. Okay, so these are the 2 points. Let's name this as O. So if I want to prove that PQRS is a rectangle, what can I show? What are the properties of a rectangle? Can you guys tell me? If I want to show that PQRS is a rectangle, I'll have to show that PQ is equal to the opposite side, which is SR, and PS must be equal to QR, which is again, these two sides are opposite to each other. And not only that, मुझे ये भी दिखाना पड़ेगा कि parallel भी है. Right? So, what condition can I make use of? Can I say that my PQ, P and Q are the midpoints of which side? AB and BC. है ना? So can I say by the midpoint theorem, I can say that because these are the midpoints of the given sides, my PQ must be parallel to AC, and not only that, मैं PQ को कह सकती हूँ it should be half of AC. ठीक है? And similarly, can I say the same that if my S and R are the midpoints of my AD and DC, can I apply the same theorem? Absolutely yes. So it means my SR is parallel to AC, and not only that, it is equal to half of AC. And from these two conditions, I can say that my PQ is equal to RS. So it means मैंने एक चीज तो प्रूव कर दी है, which was this: PQ is equal to SR और RS एक ही बात है, ये दोनों इक्वल है. Now again, similarly on the same lines, जो मैंने steps use करे हैं, can I say that my PS must be equal to QR? Yes. Why? Because अगर मैं consider करूँ that P and S are the midpoints of the respective sides, it means my PS must be equal to 1 by 2 of my BD. And similarly, Q and R are the midpoints, which means QR must be half of my BD, and both of them are again equal. So similar lines में मैं कह सकती हूँ. So it means ये दोनों sides तो equal आ गए हैं, right? So it means कि ये जो दो lines है, they are equal to each other and parallel. That is fine. But I need to show that AC and BD bisect. ठीक है? If I'm able to show कि AC and BD, yeah, they do bisect, but what you need to show is that the angle. So let me just write this down. The angle P, angle Q, angle S, and angle R, all of them are 90 degree. ठीक है? If I'm able to show this condition, तब मैं कह सकती हूँ that yes, my PQRS is a rectangle. So what I can do is, let's focus on this point कि let's just erase everything. तो ये point तो prove हो चुका है कि ये दोनों equal हैं. So let's come back. Yes. So if I can say that my BD is perpendicular to AC. Now just remember कि in a rectangle the diagonals bisect each other at 90 degree. ठीक है? So if they are 90 degree, now I can say that PQ is parallel to AC because these two lines are parallel to each other. ये जो angle है, for instance, this is my angle, इसको O dash ले लेते हैं. QO dash O must be equal to 90 degree. Now again, my OQ and QR are what? मैं क्या कह सकती हूँ इन दोनों से? Can I say that this is 90 degree on a similar line? Yes, because your BD is parallel to QR, because my BD is parallel to QR, then further I can say that my angle Q is 90 degree. So it means one angle I have got it as 90 degree, and automatically all of them can be proved on a similar line. So it means PQRS is a rectangle. Okay. So I believe in this question आपको समझ आ गया कि what was the important point. Opposite sides are equal and they are parallel, which is done with the help of midpoint theorem. And the next one is that each angle should be 90 degree. Now the third question is ABCD is a rectangle and PQRS is the midpoints. Okay, so let's just draw this once again. So ABCD is a rectangle and PQRS, PQRS are the midpoints. So let's join these points and see हमें क्या मिल रहा है. So this is what is the quadrilateral that we are getting. We need to show that this is a rhombus. So PQRS is a rhombus. So let's do one thing. Let's do this one construction. Not exactly a construction वैसे तो, but we are trying to join the diagonals, which is AC and BD. So if I'm joining these 2 points, this is what we are getting, है ना? And what if these diagonals are intersecting at O? So मुझे क्या show करना पड़ेगा that if this is a rhombus, I need to prove that your PQ is equal to QR is equal to RS is equal to SP. So ये जो सारे sides है, they are equal to each other because in a rhombus all the sides are equal to each other. And is there something else that I need to show? Yeah, that is it. So let us focus on the fact that because मुझे PQ is equal to QRA दिखाना है, so why not first of all show that consider P and S are the midpoints of the sides AB and AD. ठीक है, P and S are the midpoints. So again by the midpoint theorem I can say that my PS is parallel to DB and not only that ये हो जाएगा half of your DB. ठीक है, so this is the very first equation that you can figure out. Now the next thing is focus on Q and R. This is the midpoint of the respective sides BC and DC, है ना? Now again because these are midpoints, so my by midpoint theorem your QR is equal to half of your DB or even parallel, but I'm only bothered into these two equations. So from these two equations I can say that my PS is equal to QR. ठीक है, now that they are equal to QR, now also remember कि क्या मैं कह सकती हूँ that focus on my SP is equal to half of DB, है ना? SP is equal to half of DB and this is further equal to what? Half of AC. The reason is in the case of a rectangle, the diagonals are equal to each other. They are of equal length. So from this basically I can draw this conclusion that my AC is equal to DB. So I can just substitute my DB with AC. So this is equal to half of AC, which is further equal to, what can I say? PQ. Okay? So it means my SP is equal to PQ. What does it show? Ki these two lines are equal, SP and RQ are equal, SP and PQ are also equal. So can I say ki all the sides are eventually equal to each other? We can say that. So it means that PQRS is a rhombus. Okay. So I hope so this part is also clear to all of you. All the sides are equal. So this will be a rhombus. Now let's look at the next part, which is question number 4. In question number 4, we are basically having ABCD is a trapezium where AB is parallel to DC. Okay, we can see that in this particular figure, AB is parallel to DC and B and D is a diagonal. That is also visible. Now just remember that मुझे इसमें given है कि E is the midpoint of AD, right? So as we can see that E is the midpoint of AD, nothing else is given to me. This is my point F. What if I'm assuming this point as O? ठीक है, हमने name कर दिया O. A line is drawn parallel through E to AB. So it means my EF is parallel to AB because I'm drawing a line through E, which is parallel to AB and it is intersecting BC at F. ठीक है, and I know my AB is parallel to DC because my ABCD is a trapezium, right? Because my ABCD is a trapezium, it's automatically proven that AB will be parallel to DC. Now what is the next thing is we need to show that F is the midpoint of BC. Now this is something we need to prove. Now just remember that if EF is parallel to AB, it's easy to see कि EO भी parallel होगा मेरे AB के. When EO is parallel to EB, notice this as the first point, and E is the midpoint. Can I make use of the midpoint theorem once again? कि it will bisect the line DB. ठीक है, ये जहाँ पे भी if I'm extending this line E जो O है O तक हो रहा है, and it's basically proven by the midpoint theorem that if the line is parallel and E is midpoint, it will be bisecting the third side, which is DO must be equal to OB. So this means my O must bisect the third line, which is DB. ठीक है, but our proof does not end here. इससे सही समझ आता है that okay, my O is the midpoint now, and what is the next thing that you must consider? That if EF is parallel to AB, I can say my OF is parallel to DC. ठीक है, so OF is parallel to DC. So can I apply again the midpoint theorem and say that if I'm extending this line from O, it must bisect the line BC, or it will basically imply that my F bisects CB into equal halves. Or I can indirectly say that my F is the midpoint of the line BC. Okay? So it means we are making use of the same theorem not once but twice, and we were able to show that F is the midpoint of BC. So I hope so there is no confusion in this question also. So let's move on to the next one. Question number 5. In question number 5, we are having a parallelogram ABCD. E and F are the midpoints of AB and CD. Okay, we need to show that the line segments EF and EC trisect the diagonal. Trisect means DP must be equal to PQ, which must be further equal to QB. अगर ये चीज इक्वल है एक दूसरे के, then I can say that my line segments A, F and EC are basically trisecting the diagonal BD. But what else do I need to make use of to prove the same? क्या यूज कर सकते हैं हम इसमें? Can we say that focus on triangle APB? APB इस triangle में focus करिए. Can I say that my EQ is parallel to AP? Yes. And can I say that E is the midpoint of AB? Yes, it's already given in the question. So if E is the midpoint of AB, it must bisect the third side. So it means my Q is also the midpoint of what? PB. Okay? From midpoint theorem, I can say that my EQ is equal to half of my AP. Right? But does it help us to prove anything? क्या prove हो रहा है इससे exactly? Or is there something else that we can make use of to prove the same? Think and tell me. Yes. Yes. So yes, it's already given to us that DF is equal to FC and AA is equal to EB. So ये दो conditions तो हमें given ही है. But what about the next? Yes. So FD is parallel to CQ. That is true. And yeah, so let's try to see कि इससे भी अगर हमें कुछ use आ रहा है तो my FP is parallel to CQ, and considering the fact that my F is the midpoint of DC, so it means my P will also be the midpoint. ठीक है? So P will be the midpoint of DQ. Right? So from this, what can I say? So because over here we have proven that my P is the midpoint, my PQ is equal to QB, and from this point we can say my P is the midpoint. So DQ को हम equally divide कर रहे हैं. So my DP is equal to PQ. So if I can say that my PQ is equal to QB and PQ is equal to DP, all the three sides will be equal to each other. So isn't it meaning कि जो भी diagonal है मेरे पास PQ PD सॉरी उसको तो हम इक्वल 3 हाफ्स में डिवाइड कर रहे हैं, राइट? यस. So I hope so this question is also clear to all of you. So let's move on to the next part. This is the last question of the exercise. So in this question we are having ABC is a right angle triangle. So ABC, this is my triangle. Over C we are having the 90-degree and AB. A line is drawn through the midpoint M of the hypotenuse AB. So I am having a point M which is the midpoint of AB and is parallel to CD. This is fine. So MD is parallel to CB and M is the midpoint of AB. So from the midpoint theorem I can directly say that D is also forming the midpoint. है ना? And it means that my MD is equal to half of my CB, right? So how many parts have we proved? We have proved that MD is equal to half of CB and D is the midpoint of AC also. So the first part is done. And how do I show that MD is perpendicular to AC? Can I say that if my MD is parallel to CB, my angle C is 90 degree. So it directly implies my angle D is also 90 degree. And so this is also 90 degree. So it means that MD is perpendicular to AC. Now looking at the next thing, CM is equal to MA, which is equal to half of AB. So CM means we need to join these two lines. If you're joining C to M, now focus on the triangle AMD and the triangle DMC. Now try to see कि क्या similar है so that I can prove that these two triangles are congruent to each other and I can imply my CM is equal to MA. Now focus, my angle D is equal to angle D which is 90 degree. DM is equal to DM which is common. Is there something else which is common here? Yes. हमने तो prove कर दिया था D is the midpoint, so it means AD is equal to DC because my D is midpoint. So from SAS congruency rule, I can say that these two triangles are congruent to each other. Right? So once these two triangles are congruent to each other, so by CPCT, which is congruent parts of congruent triangles, I can say that my CM is equal to MA and we are done with this question also. Okay. So I hope so there is no doubt in the questions. Only based on the midpoint theorem, we have solved all the questions. So if you guys have any doubts or queries, please write it down in the chat section. In the next session, we will be looking at the next chapter, which is circles. And again, we will be looking at the concepts and the exercise of NCERT there also. So thank you so much, everyone. Let's meet next week. Take care, everyone.